Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I'm your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about Don't Beep with the Coloureds by Duza. I am covering up the bottom of this picture because I don't know what YouTube is going to allow. This is from Deadite Press, and it is a novella and two short stories. This new edition features two bonus stories of bizarro horror. But I love this cover. You're not getting to see the whole thing, and I'm not sure what I'm going to put up for my thumbnail for this video. Maybe I assume a censored version of this cover, and I'm not even sure how you're supposed to actually pronounce that title. So I just went with beep, obviously. But Don't Beep with the Coloureds starts out at a retirement center. I had to double check that that's what it was. Retirement center. Some cops are called in and they get wiped out. That's all on the back. So essentially, the Coloureds are living cartoons. And they're, wow, this is... All three of these stories, I'm going to have difficulty going into what they're actually about because they're short and I don't want to give anything away. But after this scene at this retirement center, we go into a little history of the Coloureds and what's going on now, and it's fascinating. Duza has a nice, straightforward, punchy writing style, great imaginative descriptions of things, and don't fuck. Whoop! See, I said it. Don't beep with the Coloureds. Does jump around a little bit, and there were a few spots where I had to sort of refocus my mind because it zigs and zags a little. And we kind of jump from character from one character to another without, it's not clear that we're doing that, but it quickly becomes clear that we're now following a different character. But I can't, man. So after the opening scene at the retirement center, we sort of focus on Dr. Let's see. Wanted to check his name because I want to. It's Reinhardt Engelhardt Everhart, Dr. Everhart. He becomes our focus. You know what? I'm just going to read back cover copy because I'm doing a horrible job at this. Here's the back cover copy. When the cops were called to Harrington House Retirement Center, they had no idea of the madness that awaited them. The Coloureds were there. Creatures born from animated television who do not follow our rules of reality or morality. Hell-bent on mischief and cruelty, the Coloureds have massacred those unlucky enough to encounter them. For the police now stuck in this nightmare, there may be no way out. From one of the most creative and innovative authors in modern horror comes an insane story of technicolor terror, violence, and LSD. All right, so hopefully, maybe that gives you a better idea than my rantings. And so that's the first story. Don't beep with the Coloureds. And this is an accurate representation of something that happens in the book. Just so you know. Great, fun, crazy story, which is followed by Retrograde. And in Retrograde, we have, again, short stories, hard to talk about. We have people at a comedy show. Something goes horribly wrong. The cops are called in. We meet our main character, Jensen, and things go off the rails from there. really can't say much more about it, except that I really, really like this story. It has certain elements that I'm a big fan of. And then we have, all right, I guess I'm gonna stop there for retrograde. Then we have Night of the Day of the Celebrated, folks, which is really fun and takes a stab at celebrity and has celebrities going crazy, and don't want to say much else about that. I will say, honestly, I liked Retrograde and Night of the Day of the Celebrated, folks, a little bit more than Don't Beep with the Coloureds. I liked Don't Beep with the Coloureds. I think I like the other two a little bit more. And there is an element that ties all three stories together. Not putting them in the same universe or anything, but there's just a theme, I suppose, that is in all three. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, because I think you need to pick up this book and read it and find out for yourself. I could be completely wrong about this. I do think that Andre Duza is less known than he should be. I think people, and I could be completely wrong about this. I think if anybody's familiar with him, it's probably because he co-wrote something with Wrath James White. I think Wrath James White is more well known than Andre Duza, and love Wrath James White, but I think more people should become familiar with Andre Duza as well. Really interesting guy, and really entertaining writer. This is definitely in the bizarro world of stories, which I'm surprised it wasn't an Eraserhead book as opposed to Deadite. And hopefully I have this correct, but Eraserhead, I think, is like the bizarro subset of Deadite books. I could be completely wrong about that. So please let me know if you know. But anyway, I have to keep making sure I cover up just in case. Again, I don't know exactly what YouTube's going to let me show. But Don't Beep with the Coloureds, Andre Duza. I gave it 3 out of 5. I'd give it 3.5 if possible, but Goodreads won't let me do that. 3 very interesting stories, very different stories, but with a little something that sort of thematically ties them together, and it's something that I really, really like. Something that I really dig in stories. So, but I don't want to say any more. You'll have to pick it up and read it and find out for yourself. I think if you read these 3 stories, you'll immediately know what I'm talking about when I say there's something that's thematically in there. Anyway, there you go. One final time. Don't Beep with the Coloureds, Andre Duza. 3.5 out of 5. That is all I have for that book. Yeah, this is getting a little loopy here. Doing a lot of videos in a row. Question for this video. Excuse me. Are you a fan of bizarro stories? Have you ever read any? Does the name Bizarro, or the title, the whatever, does Bizarro sort of throw you off? It did for me the first time I heard it, but my experience, because I thought it was going to be this weird experimental writing and all this craziness, and my experience for the most part has simply been it's bizarre in the subject matter, not necessarily in the way it's written. Like a ton of Bizarro is very straightforwardly written in a straightforward way. My speech patterns are becoming Bizarro. The writing has been very straightforward. Carlton Mellick III everything I've read by him just reads like any other, for lack of a better way to put it, any other book you're going to read. It's the ideas, it's the themes, it's the situations and the worlds that are bizarre and sort of go beyond even your regular horror. I mean, in horror, we're used to, haunted houses, vampires, zombies, giant animals eating people, possession, and, all these different things. And we sort of take them for granted as horror fans. And Bizarro goes beyond that and just gets really weird with the concepts. So, yeah, so I'm a fan of, again, as always, any well-written, entertaining story I'm going to be a fan of. And so don't be scared of the Bizarro label. And if you've tried any, again, we're back to the question of the video. What do you think? Are you a fan of Bizarro? Could you take it or leave it? Are the concepts a little too out there for you? Or have you just been put off by that label itself? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. All that usual YouTube stuff. If you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronin5757, and my Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is ErikSmith5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. That's all I've got. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Erik Smith, and until next time, read more books.